Hey, welcome to the Face the Matrix episode number one, the introductory episode starring Malik and James Kane.
What's going on, people? How y'all doing?
Yes, yes, this is our first episode, so this is a little, don't mind the amateur setup so far. We just wanted to get this podcast started to just get the ball rolling, start the momentum up. So yeah, man, this is my friend James. We live on the same in the same neighborhood, and we've been talking about this podcast for 2 years, man. And then we finally decided to just attack the problem, and it took us about a week now to get everything together. And literally, this is the first offering we have to the world. So, clap it up for ourselves, baby. Clap it up for ourselves. Yes, yes. So, the Face the Matrix podcast. Why is this podcast different from other podcasts, and why did we come into existence? A quick little synopsis of it would be we are trying to get people to reach their higher selves. And what do I mean by that is a lot of us,
I
James,
had to light the blunt right when you said that.
yeah.
I'm trying to reach my
Yo,
higher
yo,
self.
yup, yup, we here too. That's a fact.
I'm
We here
trying to
too.
reach my higher self.
Literally, in every aspect, we are trying to reach our higher selves. So, funny enough, James had a good metaphor for this podcast. We was thinking about names for it. So he was like, hey, you know how you have to face reality? Well, you have to face the Matrix. And if you ever watched the movie with the Matrix, you know about how Neo had to choose between the blue pill, which kept him inside of the fake material world that he was confined in and he didn't know any better. Then he had the red pill, which opened him up to the real world and how it really operated and how the fact machines, aka social media and AI technology, was running the world and how they was using human energy to make a fake ass computer world. So basically, we're here to counter that. We're here to be the fucking Zion in the Matrix movie. We are Neo and Morpheus trying to come directly to to the world, to the masses, and tell you that you need to elevate. You need to get closer to your higher self and stop doing things that are detrimental to your growth as a human being for both men and women.
You need to think for yourself.
Yes.
You need to get information and figure out it. You need to look. There's a whole bunch of people out here that's walking around with opinions that are not their opinions. They was
Mm.
programmed to think like that. You know. So when I sit there and talk to someone about um, a whole bunch of different. I'm not even going to get to the
Yeah, yeah,
subjects
we
yet,
got a
right?
lot of
When I
subjects
sit
to
there
get
and
into,
talk
but
to someone about something that's not really their opinion, that was programmed through the matrix, through a camera, I mean, through a blue screen,
mm,
and they'll sit there and argue with you. They'll turn into an agent and argue
mm,
with you when you're telling them, "Hey, this is the real thing. You should look at this." And they're not even like really looking at the ultimate thing. Like when you're trying to help someone, I'm not telling you, "Hey, come with me down this dark alley and let's do something illegal. Let's do so." Like I'm like trying to just pull you out of the thinking that you're in.
mm, mm.
And I'm not trying to say think like me. No, get your own information because there's so much stuff that's going on in this world that people don't even know about. I can't. I went. What? I went out on. I went on a date yesterday, and when I was speaking to this female, she didn't know what the Chinese balloon was
Mm.
that was floating around the United States. And then it's like where do you, where are you? Don't live in Canada. You live here. You live here in New York City. What do
Yes.
you don't know about the? She's like, no, please tell me, explain to me, because I didn't hear about it, and I was really mind boggled on how people are functioning out here and don't even know what's going on.
Mm. Yeah, and and that's the key. The number one thing in the matrix is that your ability to think for yourself, aka have independent thought, is confined, and you're like a mice in a maze. They put you in this fucking maze that they designed specifically
For
for
real.
you.
And look, hold on, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Mm.
And don't get me wrong, that balloon was the Matrix. Like
Mm.
something that no one knows about is that those days that balloon was flying over the United States, Dr. Fauci was in court getting grilled on why he lied to the United States, to the U.S. Why did he lie to us about the vaccine, about the protocols? Like, he lied to us, and no one knew that he was in court getting grilled because everyone was looking up to the sky.
Mm. Nice distraction. It's like, look over here while we doing this over here. Yeah, baby. That's propaganda 101. Like, there's hey, rest in peace to Prodigy from Mobb Deep, man. He had an album named Hegelian Dialectic, and I remember, when the album came out, I was like, that's a pretty, neat name. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? So when I researched the name, when I googled the term, come to find out the term means when someone creates a problem in order to offer you a solution. So, for example, when we talking about the COVID shit, right? They created a fucking virus in a laboratory and then created the fucking solution for the fucking virus that they put out. So it's like, hey, there's a virus out, and the only way to fucking stop it is if you take our vaccine. So they offer the problem and the solution together. And that's how a lot of the fucking media is used to control people's minds. They give us a problem to care about, to go crazy about, to fucking put emotional ammo into, and then they give you the solution for it, which is programmed to make you change your opinion without having you fight any sort of war. It's a mental war, and they set you up. It's the bait and switch. So when Prodigy made the album, I'm listening to it, and he's basically just going in, like he's just exposing the government, the Illuminati, and we know Prodigy had one of the greatest lines in hip hop history. The Illuminati want my mind, soul, and my body. Secret society trying to keep their eye on me. They want your mind, body, and soul. They don't just want your mind. They want your mind, body, and your soul. So the only way to do that is by manipulation through media. Now, media has been around. Yo, we didn't even get into the topic of today's episode, but we really need to let you understand real quick why this is it's very important for you to face the matrix, because I've been a part of the matrix. James has been a part of the matrix. But once you wake up, that's when your journey can begin as a human being to develop the lifestyle that is suitable, not just for yourself and the community, but in the eyes of God himself. Because this society tries to make us into basically demons for Satan's puppeteer talent show. He puts out a clone. They put out 10 type of people that they want you to be like. And then when you replicate that shit, you're now part of the fucking minstrel show that they have going on. So to go back, all of the things that we're tackling on this show is about people going from their lower self, aka their matrix self, to their higher self, aka Neo, Morpheus, enlightening Buddha, Christ consciousness. Because once you're aware of what the matrix is doing, you now can fight against it. And it doesn't mean a physical fight. It just means now you can actually think for yourself in a world that's trying to continuously manipulate you every day. When you walk outside, when you get on your phone, when you read the newspaper, when you even go to sleep, the shit that you was getting programmed with is now in your subconscious mind. You having dreams about big booty bitches and fucking and whatever stimulating things they fucking programmed you with.
Stuff that you're against, you wind up finding yourself just accepting it and not even saying anything about it, and saying, people have their own choice.
Yes.
And then even when the worst stuff happened, even when the children is getting affected, now people are staying quiet.
Yeah.
It's like,
and that's the important part too. The reason we wanted to even make this podcast as well is because we seen at the end of the day we love learning and also sharing our experiences and teaching things as well. But it comes a point where the resistance has to start somewhere. We can't keep looking at our heroes that we expect to change the world when we have the burden to be our own heroes. If we can make a podcast and change the world and tell people like, look, the more we let this shit rock, the more little kids are getting affected, because the more that they see, like, and it's actually dangerous that the kids are being targeted now, because it shows that the adults are already fucking programmed. They already got them. They're done with that. They already programmed us, and now they're like moving on to the first generation that comes out of the womb. Now they just looking at that, and it's easily discernible because again, we got things. I don't want to be, want to call names out because we know what these people are. They're trigger words, but we see, one person, Andrew Tate, for example. Um, Andrew Tate talks about how Lil Nas X could twerk on the devil and
Make out with the devil.
make out with the devil, have all this homosexuality inside of his videos, and it's pushed to children. Yet they will never attack that, but they would attack a man that's telling men to get up off their ass, become strong, become masculine, and to work on themselves. So it shows you what the agenda is. This matrix is trying to feminize men in order to make masculine men bow down to feminine thought. And that's a imbalance in the harmony of life. And this is why, again, we're going to talk about the dynamics between the higher self for both men and women. So for women, we're not saying like, hey, men, just, fuck everybody and let's go and fucking have a sausage fest town somewhere and forget the society we're living in. No, we're here to tell women and men how to come together in unison so that we can have a balanced society where we're not too masculine, which is a totalitarian society that's just making people bend and bow down without questioning anything. And also to counter a feminist society where no one stands up for anything because everyone is scared of having an opinion. So at the end of the day, you know, we are here to enlighten both ourselves and the viewers to new ways of thinking
Yeah,
that you may not have been open to because the media was trying to tell you to do the
I'm
opposite.
here to just spread some light on a lot of things that I see and that bothers me, and thing like things that are humanly wrong with the world. You know what I mean? Like, it's wrong. People know what's right and what's wrong, and then
Mm.
people just been deciding to just be quiet and not say anything. So just here, I don't know everything. I'm I'm here. I'm here to learn also.
Right, me as
You know.
well. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, again, we are one of you. Whoever's watching this, this is our way of picking up our guns and going against the dark powers that be. Everyone has a voice, and we should just use it because it's a very powerful tool. Your voice, you can end wars, and you can end wars or start wars with just the power of the tongue. The Bible has a very famous quote in Proverbs where it says, "Life and death is in the power of the tongue, and those who are wise will use it correctly." So the best thing is that you have a tongue, so you have to use it. And when you use it, you have to use it not to go with the same programming that they're teaching you, but actually use it to enlighten those around you in your community and your family and your household on how to properly conduct ourselves. Because morality does exist. There is something called God that we personally both believe in, and God is someone that cares about law and order. It can't just do whatever you want, which is satanic, do what thou wilt.
Look, for a long time, I'll tell y'all this right now. For a long time, I was raised Catholic, but for a long time, after getting in my older years, is I was like, I I believe in God, but I wasn't like, I choose to ignore him. How about that one? I choose to ignore him, and then but like now recently in the last 6 months to a year, just Satan been everywhere. Down
Mm,
to the Balenciaga thing, down to so much stuff that
mm,
people that they didn't cancel. So they cancel, that dude, but didn't cancel all of these things that's happening with Disney,
mm,
with their blatantly spelling out Satan. It's like a lot of things. So I know, and I was taught about God as I was younger.
mm.
So now that I see Satan everywhere, I know that there's a God. There's no way that there ain't a God. There's
Yes.
some motherfucker.
Unless we already in
Lucifer's
hell.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And what do we know about God? And saying God is always gonna win. God is
Yes.
always powerful. Ain't
Yes.
nothing that could beat that. Ain't nothing that could beat that force. The faith in God.
Mm,
And nothing could beat that. So I know
mm.
what side I'm on. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Even though this side might not look glamorous, you know what I'm saying? because I've been on the other side. And I
Mm-hmm.
like to switch over to the other side and play over there with the devil.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm a bastard for that. But you know what? Now that I've learned what needs to happen, now I need to move even more militant than I've ever moved. I'm gonna tell you that
Mm-hmm.
one. Because I'm
Right.
used to moving a certain way, no matter what setting I'm in. So now it's, whew,
So let me ask you this, James. Let's get into the topic of today. Let's get right into it. The higher and lower self. Let's start with like introduce yourself. Like who is James up until who is James up until you woke up out of the matrix? Describe that person. Yeah, you gonna get on for a treat now. You see,
yeah,
he like, should I give you the rated R version or the PG
yeah.
13
Because
version? He like my mother may be watching this, man. I don't know if I should tell him. There's certain things that she don't know. You
yo, but it's like it's
know.
all right. Say the question again. Pull that out again.
Okay, when before you was aware of what the Matrix was doing, when you was still asleep, what was that person looking back? Now that you can see the world for what it is and what it should be, who were you before you were aware of these things about the Matrix and the programming that you was tied down into?
I was like a product of my environment.
Mm,
I was all over the place. I was giving away my energy.
mm.
Um,
What do you mean by energy specifically? Is sexually, you
a
know?
lot sexually, a lot
Mm,
sexually, but when it wasn't sexually, it was it was in bad ways.
mm.
So it was with the fellas. It was play stuff, but I was always really you know mm, assertive. I don't know, like
You was a very aggressively masculine person.
yeah,
Right,
yes,
right.
yes,
So you chose you wasn't much of a talker when it came to handling situations, let's just say. You were someone who got your knuckles ashy.
yeah. I got my knuckles ashy, but I talked while I got my knuckles
Oh,
ashy.
okay, okay,
So
yes,
it was a
yes.
kind of like like a this is what you wanted. This you do. You're getting this because of this. Like
Right, right.
and I was I was sucked in. I was sucked in through music and movies, man. Let
Mm,
me tell you that right now.
mm,
Growing up, that was the biggest influence.
mm. And what do you like? What did it influence you to do specifically? For those who don't know, we've grown up in an urban environment where there's a lot of criminal activity. There's a lot of sex, money, murder, and
So much criminal activity.
yes, and it's
Like
what is
like you're at school at the playground and you're watching drug sales through the gate. Like
mm,
there's
mm,
drug sales and there's people, you know, just having reckless times, and us kids right there, and like that's as a child, just seeing all of that.
mm, and it made you. Did it make you? Were those your role models? For lack of a better term, did you have? Was that all you knew? That it was like, man, if
No,
I could be that, then I've made it. If I could be that drug
mm-mm,
dealer, if I could be that.
mm,
Okay.
nah, those wasn't my role models.
Mm, mm,
Um, my role model was my stepdad. He was
nice.
nothing what I was doing and what I was becoming,
Mm,
but I was doing that because that's what I wanted to do, and I wanted to survive that way. I wanted to
mm,
just go that way. I don't know
mm,
if any other way would have worked, but I know that I wanted to be bad, and
mm.
that was the matrix for me.
That was okay.
I wanted to be the most bad,
Mm,
and even if I didn't do the worst out of everyone, the people that did the worst, I made sure that I befriended them, and
Mm.
you know things
Right.
happen,
Right.
and
Right.
sometimes those things broke apart. So
Mm.
I had to stand up to dudes that were tougher than me.
Mm.
You know, not tougher
Right.
than me,
Right.
that they did crazier things than me. That they
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you know
They have a rap sheet that look like fucking
yeah.
like
So
John Gotti and shit.
yes,
Right. So, during this process, did you have any sort of like messages from God that you felt like was trying to like pull you out along the way? And were you like ignoring these messages until one day you finally was like, you know what? I'm gonna take that out because this lifestyle that I'm living is not sustainable for me. It's probably gonna lead me to a dark place in life, maybe death, prison. And did you capitalize on that message once it came to
I did not capitalize on that message.
you?
Um, I just kept on for a long time, longer than I needed. But I did have a break in between, but I still went back and it was something about it. I was really addicted.
Mm,
It's a rush.
mm,
Now that
mm,
I've grown out of it for so long, that's what it was. It was such a rush, and I was so just, just, oh, it's just crazy how I needed it at it was some moments in my life.
mm.
I just needed it.
Right. So that adrenaline rush, you feel like that that sensation you was getting was like you thought it was good at one point, and that's what kept you in it because of the rush. And then one day you just knew, like, man, this is not actually. It's a good feeling, but it isn't good to do necessarily.
Well, over the years, it was just a gradually just um, moving moving away from it and pushing myself away from it. So over the years,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
you know, it was it was a tennis match between myself and I. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it was, but the way I did it, I feel good because I didn't turn my back on everyone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm still here for everyone. You know, um, I feel great. I feel great on how I moved away from it.
Yes.
You know, I didn't lose no friendships. If whatever friendships were is done, it was done way before that. It's
Mm.
not before that. It's not that. And I've gained so many other friendships. You know, just moving on, just transitioning in life. That's the that's the thing
Nice.
about just getting out the matrix and just leveling up because I was in the matrix and I was stuck for so long, you know, chasing dreams with people that um, didn't believe in the dream,
Mm.
you know. And then when I finally got with, you know, finally got with Vaughn, and
Von Dada,
you
Young
know,
Wild and
it's just
Paid.
and the team that we have is just it's insane. It's insane on how the work ethic and what what everyone gets together to do.
Nice.
It's so
Nice.
great. It's great to have that feeling because I tried it for mad long and people just didn't have the vision.
Ah. So would you say like when you was in the Matrix, you was kind of like one foot in, one foot out? Like you was like, man, I know we could do more, but for right now, this is what I have to do to survive.
100%,
Mm.
100%. And but that's no excuse on me, because I could have just really just try to do it by myself. Just
Mm-hmm.
not try. I could have just did it by myself. But you know,
Because it sounds like even with that, it sounds like you have like what they call the survivor's remorse, where it's like you you rather. I had a good quote, man. I told my friend, I was like, I have this condition where it's a condition that actually is detrimental to being a good leader. Is that I would rather suffer with the people I love and instead of
that's kind of
leaving
that's really
and coming back and being like, "Hey, you guys need
deep
some
right there.
help,"
Yeah, that's
because I
kind of
don't
deep
like
right
to
there.
like feel like I left my people. I'd rather all 30 of us fight and argue forever until we finally all decide to move as
That's
a
kind of
whole
deep right
unit,
there.
but which is not always logical. A lot of people don't want to move from where they at. So while you're sitting here, struggling with everybody, it's like the leaders decide, you know what, whether one person comes with me or all of you come with me, I got to go on this journey myself. And when I come back, I won't forget about you. I'll come back for you eventually. And I feel like, a lot of people that are bright, that's within the hood, they have that condition where it's like they know they can leave and come back, but they just don't want to leave their people behind, no matter what, even for their own betterment, even for the good of the people, because they feel like if they leave them, that's like turning their back on people or giving up on them, even if it's
But
just
you
for a
know,
few moments of time.
how people are emotional in the
Yes,
hood.
yes. Oh man.
So you leaving, it don't matter. This people is gonna be upset. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
It shouldn't matter, but I'm just saying, off jump. That's why people have that feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
That's why people have that feeling. Like, if I leave it, they gonna feel. Yeah, they are.
right.
Some people are. Some
Mm.
people just don't know, and then it might not. Some people just like to be mad at a motherfucker. You know
Mm-hmm.
what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Like, why you smiling all the time, man? Ain't nothing to smile about over here. We struggling, nigga. We broke.
We bro, what's
Nigga, we
up,
broke. A lot of
bro?
you take it. That's a good ass movie with Bow Wow, man. That was a good movie. But all right, so when you did get out of the matrix, or when you begin like actually saying to yourself, like, I need to actually start thinking for James Cain and no one else before I can think for others.
Well, listen,
What made
I'm
you?
gonna say I've always been foot in and foot out, just like you said, because I've
Mm,
always thought for myself. I've always hustled. I never got caught up too long in a corporate job or anything, getting somebody else rich. And
mm,
I've had fun with my life. I have no kids.
mm,
I've traveled. I've had so much fun.
mm.
I think I feel like I've lived like 5, 6 lives.
Nice,
You feel me?
nice.
Like,
Yes, yes.
it's been a hell of a ride.
Mm,
So, and I choose what to do. You know what I'm saying?
mm, mm,
And when I chose to open up a business, start a business, then be part of other business, two other businesses, then open up a boutique, then it it all then it's been a journey within itself.
mm,
It's like I have like a fifth try at life. You feel me? On what I want to do. Another thing of what I'm choosing to do,
your
because
purpose.
my purpose. Because whether I was in the matrix and I was having fun. I don't regret everything. What do I regret? I didn't get caught up in the lies. I've always knew I've always listened to the dumbass conspiracy theories, which nowadays most of that shit is true.
Ironically,
You
yes.
know, so I've always so back in you know back in the day, people took. I was one of those people like, yo, listen to this video, and people would be like,
Hmm.
But now a lot of those things was most of those. It's crazy.
Right, right.
But I'm not the one to go around and say I told you so.
Just I told you. I
You should
told
come
you.
to me and be like, yo,
Thank you for telling me.
remember? You like
Yeah.
should come to me and say that.
Right, right.
I don't gotta say that. I don't gotta say I told you so.
So, what is the biggest realization you have after unplugging yourself from the matrix? What is the one thing that you're now like, I thank the Lord for showing me this, because while I was in the matrix, I just like you never was aware of it and it kept tricking you. But then what was the thing that once you got out of it, you was like, now that thing could never have any dominion over me. I know what that is. I know when it comes to trick me. Now I'm aware of it. Now I know how to deal with it. What was that realization that you had? That one, the most powerful one that you had when you broke out of the matrix?
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say when I started realizing that I'm I'm purchasing things based off what social media is showing me,
Mm,
and I'm realizing that my my thoughts is not my thoughts. I'm purchasing things. I'm purchasing tickets, or I'm purchasing items, shoes or whatever it is, and it's because social media is feeding it to
mm, okay.
me.
Mm,
So I realized it then, and then I started thinking like, is these my thoughts? Like I stopped at a store because I saw, I forgot what it was, but I was in a store and I had to stop and think like, do I really want this and need this? And I was like, is my AI, is my algorithm making me want this? That's what I thought in the store.
mm,
It's like it just, and I bounced. I walked out the store.
wow.
But it's like
It's almost like you.
that's what made me, and then I started looking more into it. It's even just talking about it right now with the phone right
Yeah, like next thing you know, they're gonna have some fucking ad. We talk about, yeah, man, I was buying shoes without thinking, and then you have these ads that pop up, 50% off all the shoes you want. As soon as you go on Google, it's like, wait, what the like, and it's almost like the algorithm is programming you to become a consumer of what they want you to consume. It's not about things that's like against the matrix that they'll program you to. It's things that'll keep the matrix going. Materialism, um, fun times, and to have you chasing these things, spending your resources and power on it until eventually you're depleted, and the matrix is now empowered because they suck your energy, both your time, your youth, your money, resources into this uh this organism that's just leeching off human energy. So I was asking you all these things because a lot of people, when they're in the matrix, including myself, it's always this point in time where we just have this sort of like aha moment. We keep seeing it like inch towards us, and then one day it just really hits us. And I think for me personally, that moment was when, you know, like me, I've always had trouble with women. I've always had like either I was fearful of of approaching women because I was raised in such a feminine oh, bless you,
here. My bad.
raised in a dominant feminine, family structure where everybody that's a role model in my family are mostly women, matriarchal,
Also, my household was also my
alpha
family.
male women,
Yeah,
like women that are like
my mom was one out of four
mm,
sisters.
mm. And
So
it's actually, this is a good parallel because James is very, he has very great social instincts. He's a social butterfly. And me, on the other hand, I'm very introverted, and I'm like selectively extroverted. I have to be in a good vibe. I have to feel the vibe, match what I want, and then I'll open up. But James is just very socially adaptable to any situation. You put him in a room with the president, you put him in a room with Afghan terrorists. No matter where he goes, he would have people enjoying his presence because he knows he's a social butterfly. But growing up in that feminine dominant household, you see two parallels. With me, I grew up so much thinking that, trying to find the one, having to treat women as if, they are like almost like a goddess. Like, like I didn't have any understanding that of being a dominant man. Sometimes you have to make people feel uncomfortable. But in that case, me growing up, I used to, get played by women a lot. And it was kind of like, damn, it's the same pattern going on. And then I realized once it started clicking that when I started becoming my own person, having my own values, my own thinking, that women would actually chase me instead of it the other being the other way around. I started understanding like, wait a minute. So the more you chase something in this life, the more it goes away from you. But the more you chase what you want in life, the more things in the matrix will come towards you to try to pull you back into the matrix or AK distract you. So what I started understanding was basically the more I started working on myself, the more I started building my mental ability, my goals, setting, finding my purpose and staying on my path, more and more of these things would start coming in my life. So me growing up, I've never been, in the streets. I always, I was played video games. I was a very bad student, by the way. I was like, I was this close to just quitting school. Like my mom's had got a phone call one day that the school told me I missed about 90 days straight, and they was about to call ACS on her, and she just sat me down crying and said, Malik, please, you have to at least finish
You
high school
have
for
to.
me. Please.
Damn.
And just the heartbreak from my mom's alone when I seen her. My mom's doesn't ask me for anything, but she just wanted me to finish school so much. And I decided, okay, I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna graduate high school. But from that point, when I started,
That was a good move
yes,
because I didn't
yes.
get to do it.
Oh man, but you wouldn't tell. You have like that's another thing, like, with the Matrix, like Biggie Smalls, most, very famous lyric as well. Um, Considered a fool because I dropped out of high school. Like, like a lot of intelligent people just don't like the social construct of school, so it's uncomfortable for them. The way that they're teaching us, it doesn't make us feel
Look,
enthusiastic.
my school sucked.
Yeah, a lot of schools suck.
Like,
They teach
bro,
you shit that just isn't important. I want to be a fucking superhero. I want to be a debater or something. They're teaching me about, you know, calculus. I'm not using that in real time. Now, if I'm an architect or
most
something,
teachers wasn't even teaching anything. They'll just say
mm,
do anything you want.
mm, mm,
That's crazy.
yeah.
That's the type of schools I was
And the
in. I was
craziest,
getting, I was getting kicked out of schools and then getting sent all around the city.
mm,
So I got to meet a lot of people around the city in a lot of different schools.
mm,
They put me, the Board of Education, New York Board of, they put me in homeschooling
mm.
because no school wanted me. They really put me in homeschooling.
Wow. What was the difference you think between the homeschool environment and the public school environment? Was you able to learn at a more easier
Well,
rate at home?
I definitely got to learn. You know,
It was better at home, like the learning
it
process?
was better at home. I was
Mm.
at school. I was always, I was like the class clown, making everybody
Mm,
laugh
mm,
or distracting everybody, whatever it was.
mm,
You know, and one on one, he asked me what I wanted to learn. I told him math. He taught the shit out of me about math.
mm,
So I kept going grade up on him with the math,
mm,
and I did so good in his eyes with the math that when because that was me I got left back and then I got put in. I was supposed to be going to high school, so then I got left back and then put in homeschooling because no school wanted me.
mm,
So and then when by the time I was done with him at the end of the school year, he gave me enough credits to to skip the grade to be at the grade that I'm supposed to be at.
mm.
You know?
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, he
You
was
see,
cool.
yeah. And you
Mr.
see,
G, that
and,
was
and,
his
and
name.
and a matter of fact, speaking of schooling, the Matrix, a lot of the program goes on with schooling. I mean, we was just watching um Andrew Tate podcast where he broke down how like a lot of children just do not have access to their parents who teaching, because the parent sees the kid probably like 1 hour out of the day. They're programmed by the school and all of these
And
other
social
people,
media.
social media now.
So you're competing the whole entire day. Like you're
Mm,
competing. The parents, they're competing with
mm.
the school, the curriculum in the school that is insane right now, and
We're gonna get into that too,
and
man.
social media. Come on.
Mm,
So now that the parent, and God bless everyone.
mm. Yes, definitely. God bless. So, so yeah, our journey to this enlightening phase that we reached. Um, Everyone's is different. Some people, it happens earlier or later than others, but the point is, once you become enlightened to what the system is doing, you have to take initiative for yourself to begin to walk that path. And it's not easy, man. This shit is like, it's not, again, we're not here to act like we're the great sage of existence that's going to tell you all of the answers and everything is going to be okay. No, in fact, we're still on our journeys personally, ourselves as individuals. What we're telling you is that once you do wake up, you know personally what you have to do. For example, when you wake up, like working that job that you don't give a damn about is not the way to go when you wanted to be a damn a zoologist and study animals and go traveling to Africa and seeing all kind of creatures and specimens. You know that inherently. So why would you settle for being programmed to be another NPC? That's the new word now people use, like a non-playable character in the video game that just says the same line. Hey, how you doing? Welcome to so and so. Can I take your order? Now, this is no disrespect to people in those environments, but for the people that are in those environments, we're telling you to wake up. That's not what you're destined for. This is why a lot of those jobs are becoming automated by computers and fucking AI, because there's something that you can program something to run those things. You can't program creativity. You can't program um, being an authentic human being and being creating, using your talent to help others. So with us, once we've come to that realization, we started studying people who've broken out of the matrix, who've been attacked by the matrix, who's been going against the matrix, and seeing how the matrix reacts to them. And what we find is the same commonality. There's always someone that is controversial because they're telling people to not settle for being duped by the government that we're supposed to trust, but has showed us time and time again we should never trust them. So once you know, for example, with us, we're anti-vax.
They be wilding.
Yes, they wild out. We've seen the Tuskegee experiments. We've seen
They
what
be
they did to the
wilding.
Indians. We've seen with this government, this
Dr. Fauci, I think he's gonna go to jail, man.
mm,
I think he is.
Dr. Fauci, man,
And
Doctor
there's somebody
Doctor
else right now
Mobster.
that's in
That's a
trouble
mobster
in
doctor.
China. There's somebody else that lied to the public over there. So they getting charges. I forgot his name.
Mm.
But yeah,
And that and,
y'all
and
could
that
look it up.
and that's the biggest thing too, is like once you know that these people are not to be trusted, you will be a fool to go back in the matrix. That's where we come in. We're telling you, once you're not crazy, you're not a conspiracy theorist for seeing the truth. Once you see the truth, now you have the ability to make the right decision for yourself. So now when they talk about, oh, the government cares so much about your health all of a sudden that they're promoting this vaccine and shoving it down your throat through every fucking media
It
avenue,
is so much.
why was they never promoting exercise and eating healthy and fasting, getting sun, vitamin D, drinking water? Why wasn't they promoting these things before? And now all of a sudden, when one little flu comes out, they care about your health so much that they needed to freeze the world, literally stop everyone from moving to promote a vaccine. It's sketchy. And now that the light is coming out,
Promote the vaccine.
that
It
this
was.
vaccine is not what they promoted it to be. People still catching
I
COVID.
know.
People are getting symptoms from it. Now it's like, wait, so you're telling me the people that were saying, hey, holistic healing, natural remedies, like Dr. Sebi, another martyr in the Matrix who died
But
fighting the Matrix.
for that shit, all you gotta do is be healthy. Is drink. Is get some vitamin
Hmm.
C. It's like for that, all you gotta do is get some vitamin C and be healthy. do a little workout or whatever if you can.
Yes. Exercise. Big thing.
But for the COVID, that's all it is though. If
Mm.
you're healthy, you wouldn't get it. And that's what Fauci should have been promoting as healthy, as being healthy and
Yes.
but he didn't. Right now I'm a
Mm.
little high,
No,
but
we're trying. This is the
so
episode of you getting to your higher self.
I,
You've done it. You've done that. You've done that, boy. Let's get it, my brother. He is definitely his higher self right now. So, yeah, man. So this is, even, we've decided, like, as men, now to get on topic specifically, to get in the gravy of things, you know, there's a cartoon, there's an anime. I know it's disrespectful to call them cartoons, but it's an anime that I've been watching recently called Avatar: The Last
but
Airbender.
why is it disrespectful? I
Because
never heard that.
people consider like calling an anime a cartoon, like it's kind of like they think you're trying to say it's like a kids show. So a lot of like older people watch anime. They're like, no, it's an anime. It's not a cartoon. It's like a
Okay,
derogatory term. They
okay,
feel like,
okay,
So
okay.
um,
I probably offended a couple people in the past. I don't know.
yeah, because it
Yeah,
makes them feel immature.
I
Like
didn't know that.
I'm not watching
Uh,
Pokemon, man. Like, I mean, that's an anime technically too, but they feel like a cartoon is for kids and the anime is for no there's no age range for it. Anyone can watch it.
okay.
So, this anime I've been watching recently called Avatar: The Last Airbender is literally a metaphorical show to show the journey between a child having to reach his higher self, but he has to do it pronto because there's a dark evil force, aka the Fire Nation, in the show that is going to destroy the world unless he learns how to master his abilities in the next like 3 months. So he has to learn
Gotta
things
fuck
that
shit
people
up in
take,
3 months.
yeah, 3 fucking months, man. So he got to learn all this shit. He got to learn how to master the four elements: earth, wind, fire, and air in 3 months. And he has to elevate himself. So he don't have time to play and do childish things anymore. He has to really become the Avatar. So the Avatar is the savior of the world. He's pretty much like Neo in the Matrix. So in this show, Aang has to now learn what discipline is. He has to learn what patience is. He has to become a virtuous person in the span that most people take their lifetimes to understand. So you got to understand all of these virtues that have to, we take our whole lifetime to understand: patience, virtue, being a good friend, love, kindness, strength, and all of these different things. He has to understand it like this. So basically, us being in this matrix, James, our job is to show men not just how to be those things and tell them to be those things, but we have to be those things ourselves first. So everything we're telling you, we're putting into practice. James, for example, man, if you see him off camera, he's doing push-ups about every hour. Every 30 minutes to an hour, he's going to knock out 20 push-ups. Boom, 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 boom. So now he's doing 250, 300 push-ups a day. So now, as men, we know it's our responsibility to stay healthy. When we was in school and had gym class, it was just, hey, yo, get your ass on that line if you wanted to play basketball and have fun after. And if you didn't do the exercises, you couldn't play and have free time. We didn't like it, but we did it, and it was good for us when we was kids. It kept us athletic. But then as we get older and we stop having we have to have now the personal responsibility to do those things. You begin to understand this is what makes a man a man. You have and a woman a woman. Once you out of the matrix, it is your responsibility to stay on the path of higher ascension because the people around you. If you talk about, hey, I want to go and work out, motherfuckers like, hey man, fuck that. Let's go get fucked up. Let's go get fucked up. It doesn't mean you can't have fun sometimes, but it just now means the things that you neglect
We
are,
like to have fun.
yes, we love
Alright?
fun. Fun is
But like
joy is one of the most
I
important
tell you
aspects
what,
of life.
like I said earlier, I've had a lot of fun. I can take a lot of days off right now. That's why I feel comfortable taking days off. I've had a lot of fun.
Hmm,
I'm good.
yes. And now, but you can, and this is the key. Like you can have fun, but just know it's gonna cost something. If you can have fun working out and staying healthy and staying on your purpose, then by all means have fun all day, every day. But if your fun comes at the expense of your ascension to your higher self and getting to your purpose, then that's where the fun is actually detrimental to you. And that's what causes you to go towards your lower self. So look at your lower self as basically a demon. Like you manifest, you could become a demon, a real life evil entity. And your higher self is you becoming a angel, a sage of wisdom, a Christ consciousness, pineal gland, third eye opened up, and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What are the things in your life that you know was making you descend into your demonic state? And what are the things that you know are helping you ascend to your higher state? So I'm gonna ask you, James, what to start with the demonic state, what are the things in your life that you know looking back on, and even in present times, that are persuading you to be pushed down into your lower self? This gonna be good, y'all. Put your ear to the motherfucking camera. I'm gonna be brutally honest too. On my shit, it's gonna get nasty. Like I'm telling you, because this shit is real.
You want to go first? Go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna lubricate it up a little bit. Let me butter the walls real quick. All right, masturbation. I repeat, masturbation. Man, listen, I had to drop at least a ton of semen, just pounds of semen in my lifetime. Now, the reason this is important, this is not just random talk about like like, hey, they have the studies. They say, hey, doctors say masturbating every once in a while is healthy for you. Listen, masturbation, when you study semen retention in the ancient times, the great minds and the great thinkers lived a life of chastity and celibacy. They did not waste their semen on random sexual adventures. They never did it with the women in their life, and they didn't do it in their personal life. When I used to masturbate until recently. This is not like 10 years ago. No, I'm 27 years old. I was doing this shit up until 3 months ago when I actually decided to actually go on my semen retention journey. Search that term up, semen retention. There's a good YouTube channel called Semen Retention Club that gets deep into the knickknacks of it. They actually take clips from media and show you how they put this stuff in media that it's like an inside joke. How they know that the more you retain your semen, the more powerful as a man you become. So basically, my whole life, the first time I remember masturbating was to Kim Kardashian and Ray J's sex tape on LimeWire. So I caught like 10 viruses on that laptop trying to get that shit downloaded. And that was my first experience with it. It was once I did it, it was almost like I didn't know how to not do it. It was just natural. It was like going to fucking breathe, getting up in the morning to wake up. It was just a part of my daily schedule. And I could tell you, I was always battling anxiety, mental before. Bro. Yo, listen, Kim, that was a legendary that mixtape.
When he was holding it like this, shaking her ass.
Yeah, oh shit, you said it. Everybody, they mother. Yes, I don't even want to go in detail. That shit gonna bring up some memories, baby. But yeah, Kim was looking right in that shit, man. I would keep it a buck. She's single now. No offense, Kanye. You know what I'm saying? She's single now. But she was looking amazing in that shit. And I was whacking off to that shit like every day. Right? And what I noticed, I had fucking bad acne. I had crusty skin. I didn't have no charisma when it came to women. I had mental brain fog. I had fucking anxiety. All of these symptoms that now semen retention shows you will have if you repeatedly release your seed constantly. This isn't just talking about like you having a high sex drive or high sexual activity in your life. When you release your seed specifically, when you release this shit, that's what drains your energy. So I know for a fact over my lifespan, if I would have never masturbated, I would have been a way stronger person physically and mentally. I would have not been as skinny. I fucking never really worked out, but I know I would have been a little bit more muscular, a lot more mentally tough if I would have stopped and refrained from doing that. So that's one, was the fucking masturbation. Semen retention is one of the most important things you should begin doing on your journey to your elevating to your higher self?
Men,
Men,
not women.
and not women. But for a woman,
For women, what?
not having, don't be a hoe. You actually like you're robbing yourself of your purity. This is, I don't want to get too deep in this, but to get on that real quick, because I don't want women to seem like having like it just works for men and not you. And I don't want to seem like I'm being sexist by saying this. So please, I'm telling you this out of love. The more you give your body up, women, the less value you have as a woman. I know it's always, hey, what about men? Why, it doesn't apply to you. It's not just because that's how the way it is. You got to think about it. Men have to ask women for permission to have sex. If you decline our offer to have sex with you, there's nothing we could do about it except, God forbid, rape. So the power is in your hands to accept our offer. So if you give your door to every key, you now have a skeleton key. When any fucking key could go and open your lock, it devalues the door. If everybody went to the same fucking place, if everybody going to this one mall, it devalues it, and everybody say, hey, everybody does that shit. It's not rare. That being rare as a woman, being able to say only this guy or that guy and a few others had sex with me and I wasn't loose, actually increases your value. It keeps you closer to your pure state of virginity, which in ancient times was looked at as a fucking commodity. Men wanted to have sex and make families with virgins, and that intrinsically was what attracted us to females.
That's a
So,
word, right?
mhm,
Yeah, right.
yeah. So women, do not give up your sexual power. If you know, like, you have the ability, you can find a man. This is the thing: a 3 out of 10 woman, if we're gonna like use the rating system, a 3 out of 10 woman can have sex way more easily than a 3 out of 10 man. That's just the thing. It might take a few drinks at the bar. It might take a motherfucker, like, fuck it, I'm gonna just drag her home because fuck it, I couldn't get the 6 and 7 out and plus out of tens. But at the end of the day, it's way more easier for you to have sex than a man. It's way more easier for a woman to have sex than a man. For a man, it's a fucking skill set. For a woman, it's just a matter of saying yes or no. So that's the difference right there. So for men, what gives us our sexual energy and keeps it in our body is actually retaining our seed, our actual seed. For women, what keeps that sexual energy alive inside of you is not having sex with anybody and everybody, right? So that's one. For men, for women and women, control your sexual energy. For men specifically, through semen retention. For women, by actually controlling the amount of times that you have sex and actually being selective with who you have sex with. Do not just have casual sex if you don't care about people. That's what men do. Because we can have sex and not think about it. Women, you're not designed to have sex and not think about it. When you have sex, you're supposed to be bonding with your partner, right? So that's
And a
one.
lot, a lot of them do it and not think about it, but like those are the damaged ones, and they need to like get some help.
Right.
I'm sorry to say that.
Yes.
I'm sorry because I do meet a lot of them that do it, and yeah, they they program they in the matrix. They program to think like a dude,
Mm,
you know.
right, right. So that's one, is the sexual energy. That's the one thing that was leading me to my lowest self. Number two is laziness, just straight up laziness. If you know you have to do, if you have a purpose in life and you keep on putting it off repeatedly, there's gonna be days where you just say, I don't feel like doing this. I'm not in the mood. Okay, I'm gonna do this tomorrow. But laziness is when you do that habitually. You do it over and over and over and over and over again to the point where you don't even know where to start anymore. And then starting feels a lot harder than if you would have just did it 14 days ago when you had the initiative to do it. So laziness, playing video games, sitting around at bars and doing stupid shit. I just was not on my purpose. I was pushing away my purpose for the sake of just taking the easy way out. Laziness is for people that do not want to go through the trials and tribulations and getting the scar tissue you need to grow stronger and stronger. You go through the lashes, even this podcast. We didn't even have the camera to start the podcast, but a lazy motherfucker would have been like, hey, we ain't got no fucking camera, man. Just shit, man. We'll try again some other time. No, we said no. We're gonna use this laptop camera. We got the lighting right here, and we got it done. And from here, we're gonna work on it until it becomes what we want it to become. That's what real men do. You work out the problem. You first you become aware of the problem, that there's a problem, and you find a solution. It's that simple. That's our job as men, to identify problems, find solutions. If you're not operating from that, then you're literally avoiding reality. You're not facing the matrix. You're trying to blend in with the matrix and hopefully get it a easy, a bag of money fall out the sky and shit like that. No, it doesn't work like that. You got to work out your problems as men and women. This is why, to James' point, a lot of women that are damaged by, either being too sexualized or too masculine, they don't want to do the work. It's important to do the work on yourself, women, because as men, we are not valuable to you if we don't work on ourselves. You can find a badass chick who just got kicked out of her apartment. You see that chick, 10 dudes drive by and they're going to be like, hey, shorty, what are you doing out here? How can a girl like you be out in the cold? Get in the crib, take her back home, feed her, clothe her, let her spend the night, let her stay at the crib. On vice versa, women see a dude get kicked out his crib and on the street, she's like, damn, that's a bum. Just that simple. Low value male, she wouldn't even consider it. So men, we have to work on ourselves in order to even be
Yeah.
valuable. It's just what it is.
Oh Lord, that's kind of true. That's really true. That's really fucking true.
You could be a good looking guy.
Unless he knows a chick already, you know
They
what I'm
have some
saying?
bond.
And they have a bond with a chick already. She'll take him in. But nah, like you said, yeah, man.
You're like, what that badass bitch doing in that shanty town? What is that badass bitch doing in that
I
car?
got kicked out. A word?
That's crazy. Who do that? Who did that to you? You don't deserve it. Motherfuckers will take in a bum bitch anytime as long as she look good. I'm telling you, it's just the nature of things. Men, we are attracted to what we see. Women are attracted to what they hear and feel. So for a man, as long as we see a bad motherfucker, it don't mean we're gonna have a family and extreme shit like that. But we will take care of women more easily than a woman is willing to take care of us. So for a man, we have to do what it takes to work on ourselves to be valuable in society. When we're not valuable into society, society tells us that you're a bum, you're a loser, you're lame, whatever. With a woman, she could be a loser, lame, prick, asshole, dot, whatever. As long as she's fucking beautiful and as long as she can fucking make people attracted to her, she can get in rooms that even valuable men can't get into. There's valuable men who work their whole life, become millionaires, can't afford a fucking yacht, never will step on a yacht. But then there's a badass bitch who's 22 years old, fresh out of college, got C's and shit, wasn't that great of a student, who getting a DM right now to go into a fucking yacht party. This is where the difference between men and women. So a woman who works on herself is actually extremely valuable because it's not expected for a woman to work on herself. It's not that women, that you're the problem, that you don't work on yourself. The problem is society doesn't put the burden on you as much as it does men to work on yourself.
Feminism.
Yes. Oh yeah. And this specific society doesn't.
Right.
Back in the day, that you had to cook, clean, be like you had to have skill sets as a woman to be valuable. No, go ahead. Yeah, explain
go ahead, bro. It is what it is. It's like
yeah, and to and the third point is lack of confidence. I can say when you lack confidence, you become more of a coward over time than you do a courageous person. What courage I had to learn courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is having knowledge of fear, feeling the fear, and still choosing to proceed through that circumstance. Cowards see fear the fear, and avoid the fear and run away from it. James, can you please tell them about the metaphor that you put us on to with the bull and the cow in the storm? Great metaphor to explain this one.
all right. So yeah, the cows and bulls. I'm sorry, man. It's cows and buffaloes.
Cows and buffalo,
Yeah,
excuse me, sorry.
yeah. It's cows and buffaloes. Cows and buffaloes, they can sense when the storm is coming. They can sense when the storm is coming. Cows and buffaloes.
It's thundering,
So the
bitch.
cows, what they do is they run away from the storm. And they wind up getting caught in the storm and just getting caught up in it, and they in it for a while, they're running with it, and they just fucking just going through hell and just going with it. But
Mm.
the Buffaloes, you got me with the Bulls. The Buffaloes, they go straight towards the storm, and
Yes.
they just run towards the storm. And they just get through it as fast as possible, and by the time you know it, they're just past the storm, and they're just getting sunshine, and they're just chilling. Everything's calm,
Mm.
calm, and
Mm.
they just get by it really fast because they just get, they run towards it.
Yes.
And the cows, they just run away and they just get caught up in it, and they're in it longer than they're supposed to. So stop running away from your fears.
Face the nature. Literally,
Face them.
that's the
Face the
definition of
nature.
facing the fucking matrix. And you gotta like think about that too, man. It just shows you how much when you run away from the problem gets worse. Because as the cows are running away from the storm is now like is outrunning them. So then they get caught in the middle of the storm eventually. So they're still running, but the storm is now over in the middle of them, and they have to just sit in the storm. Whereas the the buffalo the buffalo runs through the storm. So even though it's in the storm and then it gets into the heart of the storm is going the opposite way that the buffalo is running. So eventually the buffalo outruns the storm when he runs through it. That's how you get through a problem. You don't run away from it. You run through the problem. When you run away from the problem is just going to follow you and be over your head. When you run through it, you actually go through the problem and get to the other side of the problem, which is the solution. And that's what courage will teach me and has taught me in the past year. I've learned that a lot of my fears were self-induced upon myself in order for me to feel validated and not facing my problems. It was easier to blame the world. It was easier to blame my parents. It was easier to blame my environment than it was for me to just say, you know what? In spite of all of those things that may not have been favorable towards me and for me, I'm still gonna choose to get through it and find a solution. And that's where, as a man, again, being a problem solver is one of the most important aspects of being a man. When a woman gets a flat tire, she automatically looks for a man and say, hey, babe, can you fix this flat tire? And even if you don't know how to fucking fix the flat tire,
99%
we
of
be
them
like,
are.
yeah, babe, I got that. And then right after, you be like, man, let me call Carlo. Yo, Carlo. Yo, bro, my fucking tire flat, bro. You can help me change this tire? Now, your girl don't know that you didn't know, but the only thing she expects, bless you. God bless you. But the only thing your girl didn't know that you didn't know how to fix the tire, but the only thing she expects from you is to at least attempt to fix it. You have to attempt to be a problem solver. You can't just say, hell, baby, I don't know what to do. Like, shit, what do you want to do? No, you have to just take the initiative to try to find solutions. That's our job as men. That's why a lot of this shit is being feminized because they're trying to take power from men being able to be problem solvers, and they're trying to make us problem dwellers, which is to be emotional and just sit in misery and complain all day and not take action on certain
They're
things.
trying to make us all
Feminine. The woman. Now, real quick, to break down this feminine masculine principle, I don't want people to think like feminine is worse or better than being masculine. The problem
It's
is
not.
it's
It's
a
just
balance.
it's a
Every
major balance.
God created this world in duality. There's light
Now
and dark.
let me say something real quick,
Mhm.
because I could be light and towards my woman at some points. It's not all masculinity, it's not all alpha shit. You feel me?
Mhm.
And but towards me, I want all the nice, sweet stuff from her. And I
Mhm.
don't expect her to be like that 24/7. She could be an alpha with her alpha female. I mean, with her
Mhm.
females. She could be alpha at work or whatever. But with me, just keep that shit low.
Mhm.
Because I'm not going to run
Right.
over you. I'm not going to run over you. I'm not going to try to, steer you the wrong way.
Mm.
You know?
And this is a powerful concept because for those who've studied the divine masculine and the divine feminine, you'll know that when the more masculine a man is, the more comfortable a woman is being her feminine self. That's the natural balance of the world. When a woman has to overcompensate and become more masculine, it's because there's a lack of masculinity in that woman's life. This is why, as men, the less masculine we are, the more it damages the females in our society. Being masculine is not something that you just become to be cool and say, I'm an alpha male, look at me. No, you become masculine because it balances the world. When the world becomes too feminine, it tells us that's a sign from God Himself that we are not as masculine of men as we need to be, because the world is now tilting on one side predominantly and the other side is being neglected. Now you have a lot more men with mental illness, a lot more men with depression, suicide rates. All of these things are high with men these days because we do not know how to be masculine. It makes us feel inferior, it makes us feel insignificant, it makes us feel like we don't know our place in the world. When the answer is to be more masculine. That's why a lot of people dealing with mental illness issues or depression, when you begin working on yourself and specifically exercising, just from exercising and meditating alone, men start to have a whole new understanding and outlook on life. Because once they begin developing their emotional and physical masculine selves, they begin to understand how life works. It's feel like life works for them instead of against them. And the reason that is because when you're as masculine as you're supposed to be, it's not a competition. Your world naturally will bend to you in certain ways. But when you're feminine as a man, when you're too feminine, the world is actually against you because you're not being what you're designed to be. That's as if it's like the laws of nature going, like a tree growing upside down. It's an anomaly. It's not supposed to be there. So as a man, how you correct yourself? As a woman, how do you correct yourself? For women, being feminine as possible is important. But it doesn't mean just being feminine and submitting to any man. Again, you
Yeah,
have to
it's not
find men
just
that are
any man.
masculine.
Yeah. I expect you to defend yourself when you're out, you know, and be aggressive if you know, if you're being verbally attacked or something, you know.
Hmm.
I expect that. You need to be, protecting your space or whatever.
Yes.
Not recklessly, I'm not saying at all. I'm just saying, you know.
Now, Jay, what would you say? Like, all right, if you was a man and you're feminine, let's say you wake up, you don't know how to defend yourself, you don't know how to speak up for yourself. What is the first course of action you believe a man should do to get on the path of femininity, and the same for women? If they're too masculine, they feel like they're too like manly, and they want to just relax and be a princess, a queen, elegant, nice. For men and women, what do you feel like is the first step for both?
For a man, what? Say that again. For a man,
What is the first step for him to become on a path to his true masculine self?
masking himself.
Yes.
If he's too feminine right now.
Hmm.
Um, I'm gonna say one of the things is one of the hardest things, so a lot of people won't even do it. Is really working out.
Mm.
And you know, it's really working out. That's one of the things. I'm not saying it's really that's one of the things. But let me see what is one is basically having boundaries and speaking up for yourself.
Mm.
You know, and holding yourself accountable for things you've done in your past, and if you want to change, because a lot of people probably only want to change. That's how
Mm.
people in the matrix in the world is right now. That they just like accept me for me. That's just how I am, you
Mm.
know. And then
So first you have to decide for yourself if you want to change. And then once you change,
yeah,
that's when you can
yeah,
begin the journey of,
that's when you could
okay,
begin the journey,
right, right.
you know. But it's not. We're not here to change anyone because we know that. We're just here to
To show another way.
show another way and just show. Because telling people about what's wrong with the world is not changing anyone. It's just opening up people's minds. That's what we want to do. We want to
Allowing you
open
to
up people's
take the
minds.
red pill or the blue pill. It's your
This
choice. We're
look,
not,
it's not. We're not
come
trying to
here, hold
change
him down. Like that's
anything.
not what we're trying to do. Yes, yes.
And but people are going to change when they want to change, and a lot of people won't even change. I think
Mm.
a lot of the generation that's been coming up won't even change for a long time and won't even get stuff into a long time. Probably to like, you see how I was talking to that female yesterday? She's in the 30s, right? But I feel like the generation that's coming up won't even feel like that until they're like into like their 40s and 50s
Mm, mm,
because they're stubborn.
mm. Stuck in a way. What Tupac said, some things will never change.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. So what do you think? All right, for men, the first step will be exercise, and one more thing that you think, like, along with like as the initial, like not this isn't like once you exercise become brolic, your problems is done. This is just the
Nah,
initial step, first step.
exercising is really working out for your mental.
Mm,
You know, it's really getting your blood flowing. You know,
mm,
I mean, when we were all in school, every day we had recreation. I mean, every day we had gym, right? Like we had to stretch out, and like then
mm.
before we played, right?
Yeah,
That's how my gym class was, right? No,
yeah, yeah.
so you stretch and you do, a little couple workouts or whatever.
Mm.
As we're growing up, like you gotta like work your stuff out.
Right,
You
right,
feel me?
right,
It's like you're just gonna be stiff.
right. And one thing I want to add on to exercising is meditation and prayer. You know, get your mental right, like get yourself prepared spiritually and mentally to go through that grind of exercise. Because there's gonna be days you don't feel like doing it. Because me, I've recently started exercising again. I stopped at the 2020, summer 2020. I started, I gained weight, and then I got depressed and I stopped working out because I wasn't mentally strong enough to go through the trials and errors that'll come through naturally in life and still keep going with my purpose. So before you work out, make sure you get your, if you're not spiritual in the sense of you don't believe in a God, then at least meditate. Learn how to sit with yourself and actually commune with your own heart. Sit with yourself and hear your thoughts for once. Nobody else in the room. Well, you can do it with people if you want, but turning the TV and the phone off and just sitting with yourself in silence and being as still as possible and actually hearing what your body and your heart is telling you. And then from there, once you know how to sit with yourself, you can actually move yourself in the direction you want because you're not fighting conflicting thoughts and conflicting personalities that you didn't deal with yet. Because you might start working out and then you have this fucking energy inside of you that's like, oh, I don't feel like working out. But when you sit with yourself, you'll understand why you're feeling like that. And then you can then begin to take the necessary courses of action to remove that and then begin working out in spite of that
Yeah.
nagging voice that's telling you to give up. Right? Now, James, what would you do for the women? What would you say for the women? And we're gonna get women guests on this show too. We're gonna get women on here because we don't want to act like we're like
The
the
women.
fucking totalitarian authority when it comes to women. We're gonna have women that are high value on this podcast explaining to women what is the first steps for them to reach their higher self. But this is from a male's perspective, specifically, and from a man who's very
I mean,
experienced with women.
I was, but yeah, but I was, yeah, my family was a bunch of women. And then,
Mhm.
yeah. All right, so here's a bunch of women. For women, what do I have to say? Well, for
This is coming from with
the
love.
most, yeah, the most women out there, just gonna tell them that, just chill out. Don't be fooled by the feminist movement. Um, as it's all an agenda for more money for the government. That's all it is.
Mm,
Everything that's wrong with the world right now, it's all an agenda.
mm,
Like, just like you were saying, the parents are working and they only get a little bit of time. It's because both parents are working now, right? So
mm,
they're getting more income, and more tax money.
mm,
The government gets two, right?
mm,
That's double the double the tax money they got to pay. And then now, like you said earlier, the social media and the curriculum in school is teaching the children. And now the curriculum is they're just going crazy with this
yeah,
unnecessary things that they're putting on the children,
yeah,
you know, that is all based on money too. Because if they continue doing what they're doing, they're gonna have these kids as customers for the rest of their lives.
Mm. And we're gonna get deep into that
You
explanation in
know?
another episode. But yes, the side note, just to hold
Yeah.
your thought, the children, are being raised into the matrix now. Before they used to kind of let the children just be who they wanted to be. Like you remember that Nas song? I know I can be what I wanna
Mm.
be what I wanna be. If I work hard at it, if I work hard at it, I'll be where I wanna be. Like they used to kind of let the children play and then, target the adults. But now they're targeting the children because it's like, you know what? They want us to come out of the factory ready. They don't want us to run up, get out of the factory, then try to capture us and program us. Now they just trying to do it from the jump. So that's a big thing. So this is specifically as well, not just for men and women, but also for your children, because you have to also know that the same system is attacking your children. And we can look how gullible us adults are. So imagine how gullible children are. Children are
The
literally,
children.
they literally are learners.
The children.
They learn every.
Because
Mm,
I don't have kids. He don't have kids.
mm,
But obviously, we're concerned. I'm
yes,
concerned.
about your children. Not ours. Not
Like,
ours. We risking to get canceled before we ever started to protect your children. Please be in your children's lives and monitor what they are consuming. And not just monitoring it, but actually being a role model as a female and a male for being masculine and feminine. So back to, the topic though, James, which he was talking about the feminine,
the
um,
women,
getting on track to
I,
the higher self.
they, yeah, they.
He was like, avoid the feminism agenda, which is like, just
That it's all,
toxic to,
that
to
it's
the.
all about. It's all about more money for them, and it's all about
Mhm.
splitting them up and making them feel and want to be the alpha. You know,
Mm,
I
mm,
mean, that's been going on. I don't, I don't understand when women don't do this because if you see, it's been going on since the '60s, so we already have proof. There's already women in their 40s. There's already women in their 50s and 60s and probably in their 70s that chose the independent role and chose to be the alpha and chose not to settle for anyone.
mm,
And you look at those and you talk to those women, um, man, I have no, that's all I have to say. If you talk to them, if you hear their
mm,
stories, they are regretting what they picked. They really wish they would have picked families
mm.
and had a family and stuff like that. It's just,
Right, right. And to add on with,
I mean,
James's. Oh,
stuff
okay.
that I picked that I was picking in my life, I had to choose and look ahead, like look ahead on how those people are gonna, uh, how those people are gonna be in the future, like,
Mm,
and how are they living their life and what they gave up on, you know. So getting a job to me and getting someone else rich in a corporate job or whatever, it just would have taken away from my life, from what I really wanted to do,
mm.
you
Your
know,
purpose, your mission
and
in
not
life.
my purpose because I wasted a lot of time. I was
Well, well.
bullshitting. I was bullshitting, and I can admit that,
Mm,
and I take all responsibility for it, you know. But I, but the good thing about it is I live righteously, but doing bullshit,
mm, mm,
partying, and and just a lot of stuff.
mm. Yes, yes. So, to wrap this up, this is a great first episode because we only planned like right before we have the notes right here. We was just gonna introduce ourselves, talk about the higher self and lower self principle, divine masculine, divine feminine, dark masculine, dark feminine, and explain what face the matrix mean. And we was only gonna do about a 20-minute to 30-minute episode, but this now is running on an hour and a half first episode. That's a blessing from God. We prayed before this podcast started to just give us the flow. Obviously, as we become this is our first attempt at a podcast ever. whether individually or with other people. So, our chemistry, our formatting, our quality, this green screen is going to work eventually. Everything is going to improve. And this is just to be motivation to those out there that, begin your purpose. You don't have to start from perfection, but you can work your way there. And as long as you start and begin the growth to do the work, the things will materialize. And we're going to be an example for that because we're going to move with faith and confidence instead of with fear, doubt, and uncertainty. We're going to find the problems, the things, the feedback we get from our friends, family, and friends, and we're going to apply it to improve our lives. So, what we're doing right now, we just want to use this to motivate you to start that mission. Start it. It's not going to be a perfect day. That day will never come. We've experienced that where it's like you're waiting for the unicorn to pop up before you do what you got to do. No, start with those 5 push-ups. If you only can do 5, start with it. Do it. Then the next day, try to push yourself to do 6. And then so on and so forth. Just do it. Start it. You're not going to start off with the ideal, with the destination. And I love telling this example, but I told James about this. This game Diablo 3. Um, Diablo 3 came out. For those who know about this game, it's a action role-playing game where you go and kill monsters and you collect loot. And you take this loot and you put it on your character, and your character gets stronger the better the loot you get. The monsters get harder and harder to kill, and the loot gets better and better, and your character improves and gets stronger and stronger.
And you can even buy loot, right?
Yeah, you can buy it. Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
buy
buy
that
that shit.
shit.
So one day, me and my friend was playing this game together, co-op online, and this guy jumps into our lobby, and he's like, "Bro, you guys want some modded gear?" Now, modded gear means he basically hacked the game and made the loot that makes your character stronger. He made it like extremely strong. It wasn't even things that the game gave you. It was things that he modified to make it stronger than anything the game could give you. So long story short, we told him yes, like, hey, just give us the loot. So we take the loot, we put on the gear, and now we're just the monsters we have to slay. We slice them one time and they die. There's no effort. We don't have to use any tactics, any powerful spell combinations, any teamwork, anything. We just go up to
Wow.
something, whack it, and it goes down and fall. Even the boss. At the end of a level, there's a boss, a final boss for the level, and it takes a
I
bunch
was
of
just
tries.
chopping them down.
Yep, just slice him one
Everything.
time and he goes down, right? No effort, no work
It's
put
crazy.
in, no teamwork, anything. So long story short, we was playing this game like this for like a week, and we just one day my friend we get in the lobby, we about to start playing, and he says to me, Javon, shout out my boy Javon. Javon is like, Malik, is it just me or is this game trash now? And I said, what do you mean, bro? And he said, Malik, I wish we would have never taken that gear because now the game is like no point in playing it. It's no point. We're fucking Dr. Manhattan and shit from fucking the Watchmen. We just snap our finger, motherfucker, disappear. We not dying anymore. We don't have to work and improve our skill. It's nothing left to do.
No teamwork, no nothing. No
Anything.
trying to solve a clue.
Yeah, we didn't have to do none of that
None
shit.
of that.
Like the side quests, like, hey, if I do this side quest, I could get a new sword that, could help us beat this guy. No, it was like, nigga, we had everything from the jump to just kill off
So
everything.
it was just
So the moral of that story is that don't sell yourself short by robbing yourself of the journey. The journey is just as important, if not more important, than the destination. The journey will teach you things along the way that you will cherish, memories, the mistakes, the trials and tribulations, the good times. All of those things are important for you to be prepared to take the journey and reach the destination. If you try to take shortcuts to that destination, this is how you end up shortcutting yourself. And I like that Michael Jordan had a good quote about this. He said, in his interview with John Thompson, um, I don't want to get his name wrong, but he was the coach of Georgetown, the most famous coach when Patrick Ewing was there. And he's interviewing Michael Jordan. He said, "What advice would you give the young fellas in the league?" And he said, "I'm gonna tell the young fellas, don't shortcut the game. Because if you shortcut the game will shortcut you. If you be true to the game will be true to you. And he said that goes for basketball as well as life as well in a lot of
Yeah.
ways. And so just be honest, do the work, put the work in, put the blood and sweat in, so that when you do earn those rewards, you get to actually appreciate it. Because without the work, without the effort, you don't appreciate anything and it's going to be meaningless. And there's no reason to do it. So appreciate the journey, women, men. Get on that divine masculine path. Men, start working out, become more masculine. Start setting boundaries for yourself and for other people in your life. Start eating healthy, taking your health in your own hands, not putting it in the hands of the government. Women, stop believing the hype with social media and feminism. Become feminine. Be a queen. That is a great thing.
Work
There's
out,
nothing
be
higher than the
healthy.
queen. Yes. Don't just rely on your looks because you're 20 to 28 and you're just amazingly gorgeous.
Work
Because
out, be
eventually
healthy.
it's
your
not going to
thing.
be there anymore. That go for men as
Do
well.
your thing. We already know, like, man, food is poison.
Yes.
It's like so much food. It's
Be
so hard to pick
mindful.
food nowadays.
Be mindful of what you put in your mind and your mouth and your body.
Yeah.
Be mindful. Just think. Be more organic. If you know, hey, look, you don't got to go vegan. That's extreme. Go pescatarian. See how you feel. Don't just believe the hype of what this media and this matrix. That's the word we're going to use. When we talk about the society, government, the media, the word that sums it all up is matrix. Be very mindful what this matrix is telling you what to do over here and be counter it. If they're telling you the sky is red when you clearly see it's blue, use your mind to discern the truth. Don't just say, hey, well, Dr. Fauci said it's red, so it's red. Because we see what happened to Dr. Fauci recently.
He's wilding. He don't even know how to answer questions
We see
because
that.
he lied to us. He lied
Yes.
to everybody.
Yes.
But it is what it is.
So, James, closing thoughts. What's your closing statement for the Matrix, Face the Matrix podcast?
Everybody stay blessed. Y'all know what right and wrong is. Okay? Um, a lot of stuff doesn't even have to do with right or wrong. It's it's about making a choice.
Mm.
But ultimately, everybody has their own choice, and everybody that's gonna be a lot of people's excuse for being who they are, how
Mm.
weird they are, how whatever they're gonna, you know, I, I feel like a cat. You know what I'm saying? But God didn't tell you, God didn't put you here to be like a cat. But you're gonna run with that forever, and it's okay. For us, that is not like that. We're gonna pray for you, you know, because we're not here to change anyone. What we're here to do is, you know, try to just guide a couple people out of the mindset of what they're programmed. You know,
Right.
programming is crazy, and it's hard to break out of it. I'm probably programmed on a couple things still, but like the main
Mhm.
things that really, you know, trap your mind and got people out here. If you bring it up, they feel some type of way.
They turn into Smith agents.
They just feel like they
What
just
the
start
fuck you
feeling
just said?
uncomfortable because you're talking like the truth,
Mm,
and be like, look it up, and then they'll go on their phone and they'll see it, and then they feel uncomfortable
mm,
and act like they didn't see it. So I'm like, oh, hold their phone back up now, but go ahead, like,
mm.
but it, it it is what it is, right?
Yeah, that's
I'm
the
not
way
here.
it
I'm not here to
is.
get millions and gazillions of views. It's gonna reach. Something's gonna reach. The
Mhm.
people that need to hear it. God bless everybody.
God bless. Closing thoughts, y'all. Just again, stay dedicated. Nipsey Hussle, God rest his soul. The one thing I've learned from him is that as long as you stay dedicated, what you will want in life will manifest itself, and it's easier to keep going and to turn back because once you realize how far you are in whatever you're doing, you realize it's easier to keep going than it is to give up because you're almost there. So you might as well keep going. You never know how close you are. So, to not don't look at life as everything as getting a result or a destination. A lot of times it's just getting in the habit of being a good person, getting in the habit of doing good things. Make goodness a habit. It's not a destination. You can find happiness in yourself already. I love, we're gonna, quote a lot of scripture, but what Jesus said in the scriptures of the kingdom of heaven being within you. It's not by observation. Someone is not going to say, hey, look over there, look over there. That's the kingdom of God. No, the kingdom of God is within you. So you have God's throne within you as well. God is within you, sitting in you, trying to guide you into this higher self so that you can live a life of habitual happiness, habitual goodness. It's not just a destination. Oh, I got to work out. Oh, I don't feel like that. Then 2 years later, I'll have the body I want. Don't look at life like that. No, the habit of taking care of your health is good in and of itself. Oh, you making music. Oh, I'm not a superstar. It's so much money I got to put in to even get there. You being a superstar isn't the point. The point is to be on your purpose. Do what
You
makes you
probably
happy.
was never here to be a superstar. You probably was here to probably invent something that has never been invented. Like
Hmm.
it's just so many things that people are blocking their purpose
Yes.
on what they actually need to be, you know, and they'll never get there. That's sad.
Yes.
It's sad.
And you get there by starting. You just start. Once you start and do the work, you're there already. You're just growing whatever you're trying to be. It's expanding. The energy is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You're the same person, the same essence, the same energy. And once you start and you become living within your element, you begin to expand. So people can feel you not just on your own local block, but somewhere in China, someone will hit you up. I personally, when I was making little songs on SoundCloud, I remember I had a guy from Russia send me a DM. I had like 10 followers. He was one of them. He hit the DM from Russia. It was like, bro, why you stop uploading music, bro? And I was like, oh
Yeah.
no, I just took a break, real quick. Out of the. And he said, hey, all right, cool, but don't give up. Keep going. I was just like, man, that like randomly, you never know who you're gonna reach with your talent. You can't decide that. You can make something and become the biggest star in Philippines. They just love your music there. Now, to stay on your purpose is the purpose in life. The purpose, the goal is not to get to the goal. The goal is to live the goal. It's not the goal that makes you happy. Oh, once I get the $1 million. No, it's the process you develop to get that $1 million that is the purpose, the journey. Fall in love with the journey. And as a quick side note, Avatar: The Last Airbender, watch the episode called The Journey, if I'm not mistaken, or it's called Omashu. It's about the two lovers that they had to go into their cave and find, and if you didn't believe in love, you would get trapped in the cave and couldn't get out of it. And in the show, it teaches you about how you have to enjoy the journey because you could be such in a rush to go nowhere that you just forget the journey along the way, the people you met, the experiences you had. You just skipping all of that just to get to the journey. Then when you get to the destination, just to get to the destination. Then when you get there, you don't feel the appreciation because when you look back, you're like, man, I didn't even appreciate the journey it took to get here. I didn't appreciate the hard work. You just sleazed your way, cut corners to get there so badly that you don't have no emotional attachment to the destination anymore.
And if you ever get blackballed or canceled, you will never know how to get there again.
Yes,
You
yes.
don't even know how to get there
You
because
got there through tricking yourself in the matrix, trying to cheat code your way through life. The cheat code, working works. Working hard works. That's why Michael Jordan is as famous as he is. I think God put him not because of how righteous he was as a human being off the court and whatever, but just because what he did for his own goal. He put working hard first. He didn't try to take steroids. He didn't try to fucking be like another player. He didn't try to cheat his way. No, he said, I'm gonna put more work into this craft than anybody else on planet Earth. And that's how he
he really
became who he
did
became.
it.
There's no shortcuts. That's why it's
And
not a
had
bunch
to
of
be
Michael
really
Jordans out
tough
here.
to do it. had to be really tough
Mm-hmm.
because he went against
Sleepless
the
nights.
Detroit Pistons.
Bad boys.
Yeah,
Yes.
word, bad boys.
Getting them
Like
elbows. He going up for a layup, a motherfucker. They're not
they
even in the play,
knocking him
just punching you in your
so
ribs.
hard. Like there was like I thought he was gonna.
It was war.
I think he was bleeding inside them games.
Mm-hmm. Bloody piss and all that shit, kind of shit. Like, mother, it was
Yeah,
a
man.
war out there to be Michael Jordan. It wasn't easy. So, closing statement, face the matrix. Let's give ourselves a round of applause, bro. We took 2 years to start it up, and we finally did.
Yeah.
And there's more coming. This first episode is just the introductory episode, so we're gonna come with more specific content in the preceding episodes. We're gonna have more guests on here to give other perspectives. And just welcome to the journey, y'all. If you're the first fan out there, if you believe like, man, I'm the first person to see this and the first person to subscribe, thank you so much.
Thank
And
you,
to all the other fans that come subsequently after that, thank you as well. All we want to do is share this and get more people to be aware of certain things. Even if we're not the ones, I love Tupac quote, we might not be the ones to change the world, but I guarantee you we're gonna spark the brain that will. So how we do that is by sharing truth. Keep this truth coming. Stay dedicated. Stay on your purpose. We love you. Peace.
Peace.